Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Howdy. Welcome to Anti-Quote. This is the weekly show where we introduce some of the best creators from all over the world, and we find out more about them by taking your questions. I'm your host, Ryan of Anti-Quote channel, and our guest on this episode is a gentleman who has been making the rounds, promoting his latest book, Cut Them Down, which we'll talk more about here in a minute. But he's a really big fan of the Western genre. He's really, really good at what he does, and he really knows, him and the missus really know how to market themselves. My goodness gracious. If you follow these individuals on Instagram, you're going to love them to the day you die. Please welcome one of the regulators himself. TG Brown is here. What's up, partner? How you doing?
What is up, man? That was quite the intro. 10 out of 10. Thank you so much. You know how to make a guy feel welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome, good sir. It's great to have you here. It's great to have you here, maybe watching or listening to this right now. Do not forget to like and share with your closest friends. If you have any questions for our guest of honor, TG Brown, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat. And if you're watching us live or what is known as a replay, Memorex, hello there. Welcome in. Enjoy yourself. With that out of the way, TG Brown, what would you say were some of your favorite books or writers growing up when you were a youngin'?
Oh man, I have a lot of them. Obviously, Lou Lamore's up there for me. There's love Michael Connolly, Jeffrey Deaver was a few, Nelson DeMille, Jack Carr, George Gilman. He writes a couple westerns. Joe Lansdale. He's a newer western writer. He writes both western and crime fiction. But those just to name a few, are definitely up there. I like David Baldacci's another good one, and yeah, I'd say I could probably be here all day naming off people, but yeah, we'll stick with those for now.
Yeah, name off the other 50. I got time.
Yeah, I'm such a nerd with this stuff, man. So I could sit here all day just being like, yeah. Look at my bookshelf. I got like 100 different authors up there, but yeah.
It's okay. I mean, what we do here at Anti-Quote channel, the entire whole mission statement of this channel is embrace the nerd within you, TG Brown. It's okay.
Okay.
You can embrace it, man. Just own it, son. It's
yeah.
fine. It's cool. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, tear open your shirt to reveal that you're really Superman. Which, by the way, that movie comes out next weekend, which everyone's excited for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look forward to seeing how that reboot goes, because I'm a diehard Superman fan from 20 years. 20 years ago is when I really started becoming a Superman fan, when that show Smallville was on the air originally.
Oh yeah.
So, and then I've watched, a lot of different iterations of the character, whether it was the Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher days in the 90s with, Lois and Clark. Hello there.
Yeah.
Smallville and Brandon Routh and Tom Welling and George Newbern, the voice actors from the animated series with Tim Daly, George Newbern from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, respectively. And then you got obviously the OG Christopher Reeve, and then before him was George Reeves. There's a lot, man. Those are big, big Kryptonian shoes to fill, but hopefully David Cornsweet, which is the name of this new actor taking on the mantle, will do us proud. We'll have to wait and see. We don't know yet. It's too soon to tell. What would you say are some of your favorite TV series growing up?
Favorite TV series growing up?
Yeah, either growing up or past, or here in today's world, past or present, doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, I would say I actually really like that new American Primeval show that just came out on Netflix. I like pretty much any crime show, like any crime documentary or just crime in general. Those shows always are interesting to me. And I would say there's that what was that show? We watched Squid Game recently. Like that. Stranger Things was another good one that I like. I'm waiting eagerly for the last season that they're going to have of that. That I don't know if you guys remembered, but there was a show called Godless back in 2017. It was on Netflix. It was a Western, a very unique Western that I very much enjoyed. Very much worth a watch if you're a fan of the Western genre. But yeah, no, that's all that's coming to mind right now.
Godless. I'm gonna have to look this up. Godless. I don't know if I saw a promo for that or not come across my desk back, a couple years back. I don't know. I have to do some you Googling on that one, but
it's got Jeff Daniels in it as the villain, which is surprisingly does a great job. And Another show, pretty much anything with Jensen Ackles, I'm gonna watch. So like,
Well,
he
I
was
mean,
in Supernatural.
yeah,
That he's just such a stud in every role that he's
yeah.
in. So, but yeah,
Well, speaking of DC, because we talked about the Superman movie earlier, he was the voice of the Red Hood.
yeah, yes,
Yeah,
he was.
Jensen Ackles was the Red Hood. I don't know if you saw the movie Under the Red Hood or not,
Yep,
but it's pretty darn good, man.
pretty good. It's yeah, I've been hoping for them to do a live action version of that, but we haven't got it yet. But yeah,
Yeah, good luck trying to convince Hollywood to focus on not big name characters like Batman, because
yeah,
God forbid we should touch anything that's in the DC universe that hasn't had a movie. There's hundreds of characters in DC Comics yet to make it to the big screen, much less the small screen, right? Give
yeah.
them a shot, man. Look, if they can work in JL and JLU, the animated series from back in the early 2000s, they can work.
Oh yeah, I loved Nightwing back in the day. Like I read those comics. I was a huge fan of Nightwing. Almost liked him more than Batman. But yeah, I really like Nightwing. That's one I've always crossed my fingers for a show or a movie or something, but not haven't been lucky, as you know.
Man, it's been hard, but yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Nightwing, because my best friend outside of the show, you and my friend Ian would get along famously because he is a diehard Nightwing fan. Everything in his house, everything in his comic book collection, like 90% of it is Nightwing, and then he's got Nightwing shirts, Nightwing necklaces, Nightwing jackets, or something like that. I mean, I'm sure he's got a Nightwing for his little munchkin. They just had a boy a few years ago, so I'm thinking, yeah, he's got Nightwing swag on the kid. I'm sure, and if he hasn't, he will be wearing it soon enough. It's gonna happen, man.
That's funny.
It is, isn't it? It's funny how these things work. But no, some good names there, man. There's no doubt about it. What would you say are some of your favorite movies, past or present? I'm assuming a lot of the westerns that come up into conversation have to be Tombstones, Quick and the Dead, Eastwood spaghetti westerns, I'm sure. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the westerns that were more authentic feeling. So I really liked Open Range. I really liked the 310 to Yuma. But one of my favorite movies of all time, if not my favorite, is Heat, 95 movie, De Niro and Pacino. I love the dynamic between hero and villain in that show, and that movie. I mean, but that movie I could watch to this day. I mean, it's a 3-hour movie, and I could sit there and it moves so fast. They actually made a Heat 2 book that I devoured in like a weekend, and it's really good. It's written by Michael Mann. Yeah, really good. Really good story. And it's a follow-up to the movie. It's and so Hell or High Water, another one.
Yeah, that's a good
one. Wind River. We talked about that before.
Yeah, love that one.
And and obviously Western. Unforgiven's up there for me. I think Unforgiven just put the genre on its head for a little bit, and I thought that was very interesting how they did that. It was funny because when I watched Unforgiven when I was younger, it didn't land, and then when I was older, I went back and watched it again, and I was like, wow, this is actually like has some very deep meaning to it, and that stuck with me as well. But yeah,
those good. And we were just talking. It's funny because TG Brown and I are in this Discord, and we were talking about Heat last night. I popped in like two clips, like the conversation at the diner scene, and then there's an actual theater reaction to the scene where Pacino tells Hank Azaria's character, she's got such a so-and-so, and you got your head all your way up.
Yeah.
Think of this. Something comes out of me. What? And I think they filmed that scene like dozens and dozens of times. And that's why Pacino said it like that, because he was just so fed up with the fact that they kept reshooting that scene over and over and over again. That's why he went crazy the way that he did. But it works so well. And by the way, the reaction on Hank Azaria's face is genuine. That's not acting. That's literally him reacting. That's his natural human reaction. Yeah. And the fact that he's reacting like that, I'm like, dude, it's priceless. Give me all you got. Give me all you got. It's just Phoenix will be rising.
Dude, it's great. It's such a great movie. If you watch it, every time you watch it, I get something new from it too. And like for a crime genre movie to do that, it's impressive. For those that don't know, it's very impressive to do.
It is. It is. So if you haven't seen the movie, for those of you wondering what the frack is going on, if you've never heard of the movie Heat, it's a crime thriller. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro in their prime, like in their peak. Watch this stuff. It's got
and Val Kilmer.
It's got Val Kilmer, who unfortunately is no longer with us. So R.I.P. to Val Kilmer. It's got
Ashley Judd's in it.
Ashley Judd's in it, which she doesn't. I mean, Ashley Judd isn't the world's greatest actress. I'll be perfectly honest with you, but when she's in stuff where the material is good for her, she shines. And in that movie,
Yeah.
even though she has somewhat limited screen time, right? TJ?
Oh yeah.
She makes
Yeah.
it work, and you believe it too. You just believe what she's saying, believe what she's doing, and it's
Yeah.
very, very good to me. So that I can watch that film any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, Tom Sizemore's in it too.
I was trying to think of his
Yeah.
name. I couldn't think of it.
I was thinking that you were. Yeah.
Tom
Yeah.
Sizemore was in it, and the Allstate guy, the President Palmer from 24. He's in it. I forget his. Oh God, why am I'm blanking on everybody's name, but he's in it. It's got a stacked cast.
Totally.
Tone Lock is in it. Tone Lock.
Yeah.
Isn't
West
in that
Studi.
Yeah,
West Studi's one of the cops. Yeah.
Yeah, West Studi is in it. Bubba from Forrest Gump is in it.
Yeah.
I forget his. Once again, I'm blanking on everybody's name. This is.
Yeah.
I wish I had these facts in front of me. I'm terrible. But
Speaking
I need to be a better host and
Oh.
producer of the show. But
You're doing great. You're doing great, man.
But he's in it, and it just works. It just Natalie Portman.
Young Natalie Portman. She's very young.
Incredibly. I mean, what is she, like 12, 13, 14 in the movie? I mean, it's insane. Xander Berkeley from 24 is in it. He plays the guy who's sleeping with Pacino's wife.
Oh yeah.
Sit down, Ralph. Sit down.
You will not get my TV.
You do not get to watch my television set.
Yeah.
And then all the little things that Pacino adds. It's like, what do we got, huh? What do I got? It's just it's so good. It's so good. Give me all I got. Don't waste my mother effing time.
Yeah, those hunter versus hunted type stories, man. They get even another one that I really like by Michael Mann called Collateral.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
movie. I saw that
Tom
in the
Cruise.
theater. I was in the theater to see that.
Tom Cruise takes a villainous turn, man, and he is so good.
I never thought I'd see the day. I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I love Michael Mann movies. Actually, I was speaking of Michael Mann. Last of the Mohicans, another great film that he did back in '92.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm very interested in characters that have multiple cultures. He's a white man in the Mohican culture. Those always grab me. They did it well in American Primeval, the new show too. The main character, he is from a tribe, but he's white, but he's from a tribe, and he's actually more native by behavior than he is on the surface, and those things always interest me. Dances with Wolves was another one, obviously, where Kevin Costner gets integrated into a new culture. Those things always grab me.
Yeah. No, I completely get you, man. But the fact that your favorite movie if not your favorite movie is Heat. Okay, we're simpatico here. Like TG and Brown and I are getting. I mean, we already were getting along in the Discord, but now the fact that he's revealing his favorite movie is Heat, which I literally just sent clips of last night in the Discord talking about this movie, and he's talking about it now. I'm just like, yeah, we're best friends now for sure. But anyway, for those of you wondering, this is I Quote with the guest of honor, TG Brown. He's an indie writer. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends if you're joining us live on a replay. Hello there. If you have any questions for him, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you as we go throughout the course of these proceedings. With that being said, great names, great titles, great actors, great movies, all these different projects that have come across in the years, years past. Some of the things are going on now. What made you decide to become a writer?
Well, I've written for a long time. When I was a kid, I always wrote. I was always the one kid in school that was writing stories after class, or whenever I got the chance to. We'd get assigned to write, a 4-page story, and I'd be writing a 15-page story because I had all these character arcs that I was trying to complete, even though the teacher told me I didn't have to do that. So, I mean, it was from a very young age that I started writing. I think it's something that's been ingrained in me for a while, and so by the time I decided that I wanted to publish books, I actually already wrote Tribal Honor here behind me. I wrote Tribal Honor like probably a couple years before I decided to publish it. I had Tribal Honor and Jericho Burning both written and finished and ready to publish actually. And what really kept me from publishing was fear. I was scared that it wouldn't be well received. I didn't know how people would take it. You're as a writer, you're very vulnerable. You put yourself out there every time you publish a book, and I didn't know if I was ready to get that kind of feedback, or I didn't want people to think my writing sucked, obviously. But eventually, my fears were overridden by my want to do it, and so I eventually just said, "F it, we're doing this. We're just going to go ahead, and whatever people think or say, that doesn't matter because this is what I love. And so we went out there and we got it published.
Rock on,
And
man.
I think Tribal Honor got published at the end of 2023. So that's when I
Mhm.
started. So I've been a published author for just a little over, I think like almost 2 years, but about a year and a half right now. So yeah, no, it's been quite the journey, man.
Wow, 2 years. You could have fooled me. I thought you've been doing this for like 10 or 20. Because the way you market yourself, the way things work on your website and the Instagram account and other pieces of social media, you and this is a family kind of business here. You guys are killing it. I mean, you're killing it. It's very unique how you market yourselves, whether it's the book, whether it's the story telling people, hey, we got this out, we got this coming out, we got this, we got that. It's educational. It's
Oh,
one
well,
might
thank you.
Yeah, as one might say, to be perfectly honest with you, and congratulations on that, man. You've been a published author for a little over 2 years now, but I feel like, but it just seems like the way you handle yourself, the way you conduct yourself, and the way the conversations you and I have had behind closed doors, on the Discord, and conversations you've had on other podcasts that you've been featured in recently, it just makes it sound like you've been doing this for a lot longer than 2 minutes, man. I feel like you've been doing this for
Yeah.
like 10, 20 years. Like you're a boss.
Well, thank
So,
you. Yeah, I think a lot of thought went into it before we
mm,
jumped into it. We really were planning. I think that's probably the police officer in me. I think it's everything I do as a police officer. I'm planning out and trying to plan out the best that we can. It's kind of ingrained in our DNA now. And so before I got in there was a lot of research, a lot of things that we looked into to see what was the best possible way of attack. I don't know. That's probably not the best. I don't know how else to describe it, but that was how we looked at it. And so from marketing the book to publishing the book and what was the best way to do that, we had a plan going. We were saving up money the whole time too for a long time to do this because like I said, there's three things I wanted to do. I wanted to be a police officer, I wanted to be a CrossFit athlete, and I wanted to be an author. So before I became an author, I went out, I lived a lot because I knew that if I wanted to be a good author, I wanted to for me personally, I knew I'd have to experience these things I wanted to write about because for me, that's just how my brain works. I think if I experience it and become very familiar with things, I can interpret that better on page. And so I went out and lived a life. I also was, like I mentioned, Louis L'Amour earlier. Um, sorry. But yeah, I mentioned Louis L'Amour earlier. He went out and really lived life, and I think that his writing benefited from that. And that's what I wanted for myself. So I went out and became a police officer and a CrossFit athlete.
wow. What's it like being a police officer and a CrossFit athlete? Is that I don't know if I would describe it as fun necessarily because it's a service and
Mhm.
something that you do and you take very seriously as one should when protecting those streets. But at the same time, what's it like? I mean, do you have the Law and Order and the Homicide or the what's it called? The Wire theme song playing in the back of your head every time you're walking them streets, driving down Know Your Old Boulevard in Jabroni driving your cruiser, or going to the
Yeah.
gym when you're CrossFitting. Do you ever have the Rocky soundtrack going when you're working out? What's it like being a detective and a CrossFit athlete at the same time?
Well, yes, on the Rocky soundtrack, definitely. No, no, I think that with those things, I've done I'm now a detective, but I've done the police thing for so long that's just part of my daily life. So I think now that I'm doing it, it's just like something that I do versus anything that sticks out for me. When I started, it was definitely exciting. Like, you'd get involved in these scenarios and these things that you weren't used to getting into, right? That was definitely a culture shock for me. I went from being a kid that was relatively pretty safe growing up. I had great parents. I had a great life growing up, pretty safe. And then I go into this world of like, okay, you're not safe. You are the line of defense now, and that in certain circumstances. And that was a huge shock to me. And so when I was getting into the police field, I was getting into CrossFit around the same time, and I realized that like CrossFit wasn't going to be enough to be a good police officer. I wanted to be. I kind of have this tendency in my mind that I want to do. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So when I became a cop, I wanted to be really good at martial arts as well because I figured out that if I was good at martial arts, I could not only protect myself but the people that I was dealing with. Right? If I was competent in these martial art techniques, that I could bring people in without an incident happening. And so I got into martial arts and stuff and then became a defensive tactics instructor. So now I coach other officers on how to use various martial arts. And I also teach verbal de-escalation skills, which of course, helps people calm down in certain scenarios as well, kind of like a negotiator. And yeah, so I just kind of, I think for me, it was always just about trying to be the best I could be at something, but while not letting those things define me as an individual, because I think it's easy as a cop when you get into it. It's very exciting. The adrenaline rush, you want to chase that all the time. And then you almost let the job identify who you are. And so for me, doing multiple things, it made it so not one thing identified me. It was just all a culmination of who I am as a human being. And that was what I was searching for. I wanted to be a good human being above all else. And I think that when you base your personality on just one profession, it's hard to do that. And so, yeah, that was kind of my path. And so with these things happening in my life, I just practiced each one of them. And with me being ADHD, having multiple paths that I was on, it was good because I would get a break from one when I went to the other. So, I'd be writing, and let's say I hit a writer's block, and then I'd go do a CrossFit workout, and I'd get a break. And that break was much needed. I needed that break, and then I'd come back to it. And it was the same with police work. If I was working a case that was really hard and I hit a wall on a case, I would stop and either work out or do martial arts or write. Maybe I'd go write a book, write in my book, or whatever it might be. And all these things just kind of mesh together to help me become who I am now. And so really at the end of the day, it was just about trying to make myself better as a person than anything else, and trying to how do I make myself better each day? And these things all mesh together to do that. So yeah, how do these things, because obviously it's like CrossFit and police work, it takes a lot of discipline, and you get used to doing hard things, and that just benefits you in your personal life, right? Like you get used to doing hard things, so then it's easy to go and do hard things for other people that might need you in your life, your family members, your your wife, whoever it might be. So you're willing to go the extra mile. I think it just ingrains that DNA into you the more you do it. And so what better way to do it than do some of the hardest things that this world has to offer, right? So yeah, sorry about that long-winded response, but hopefully that answers your
No,
question.
your ADHD got in the way. It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not disqualifying that, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody who has that, because I mean, look at me. I have autism, so who'd have thunk, right? But still, no, I get it, man. Congratulations on everything, and thank you for your service. Protecting those streets, doing what you need to do. Detective. That's a badass title if I ever heard one. Which is cool, man. I totally dig it. So I heard through the grapevine that you're listed as one of the top 10 most in shape or most best athletes in the world, something like that. Or maybe you're one of the top 10 sexiest men alive who just happens to be a CrossFit warrior or a police officer. I don't know. Describe for me, what exactly is this list, and how on earth did you crack that top 10? Because that's got to feel pretty good now, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, so I was the 10th fittest law enforcement officer on earth last year. It was a competition held by CrossFit Mayhem, which is like a big thing in the CrossFit world. But anyway, yeah, it's this big competition, and they put out like 5 or 6 workouts, I think, throughout a week. And as you do them, I think each workout pretty much eliminates a competitor because they get harder as they go. And yeah, last year the workouts lined up to something that I could do, and so I made it to the final few workouts where I had a chance to win it. Didn't win it. I ended up in 10th. There was a lot of good athletes in there, but yeah, no, it was a very good experience. I think I was 29th the year before, so it was a big jump. And yeah, I think there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into that to try to win that one day. That's a goal of mine, to be crowned the fittest law enforcement officer on earth. That would be a huge honor. But so we're working towards that day by day.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. Now I know this competition is still going on, but I'm just curious. Could we see an appearance by T.G. Brown on American Ninja Warrior somewhere down the line? You're gonna go for the big time. The red, white, and blue Rocky versus Apollo match with American Ninja Warrior. Is that gonna happen?
I've been asked that a couple times. I haven't. It's not on the docket yet. But the more that I am on this men's adventure Discord, the more I want to just try out crazy stuff. So, I see Nate and Luke on the podcast talking about adventure and whatnot, and you talking about it as well. I'm like, okay, maybe I should try this. Maybe I should start climbing stuff and climbing mountains and add that to the to the resume as well, because I think I'll it's all good stuff, right? If I tried the Ninja Warrior thing, I don't even know if I could do it. I haven't even done any of that type of training. CrossFit and that type of training are two different things. So we'll see. But maybe I'll try it one of these days, just to say I did it. Make it a bucket list type of thing.
Yeah, it's a very good possibility. I mean, you being on that list and doing what you do every day with CrossFit and everything else, I could see you winning some world heavyweight championship belts, brother. I mean, you get, forget about John Cena, forget about Cody Rhodes, all those other guys. You can give these champions a run for their money. Even the ones on American Ninja Warrior, I think you give them a run for their money.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll stay tuned, I guess. We'll make. Pretty soon you'll see a American Ninja Warrior marketing video for my books. It'll be a crossover.
Yeah, you never know, ladies and gentlemen. It very, very well comes. Speaking of Luke and Nate, Luke is here. Luke says, TG is truly inspiring. Everyone, please trust me. Cut them down.
Oh,
Look at that.
Thank you so much.
Look at
Thank you so much. The legend himself.
Yeah.
Right back at you. Gun Law came out this week, and I started reading that, man. First chapter of that book comes out swinging, man. That is a great opening chapter. I'm very impressed. I can't wait to finish that book.
Definitely, yeah. Congratulations to Luke on your latest book, Bloodlands. Oh my gosh, insane stuff. So many westerns, so little time. This is why my TBR list behind me is 600 miles long. TG Brown, it's pathetic, but it really is. But on the flip side of that, though, what would you say are some of the biggest rewards, what are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer?
Yeah, for me, it's cathartic. It's very cathartic. It's like therapy for me. No matter what I'm writing or how I'm writing, that's the biggest reward for me. It makes me feel whole. Out of all the things that I do, it's the thing that I love the most. So every time I do it, I said on a podcast before, writing's like breathing to me. It's that important. And I know it sounds dramatic, but that's how much I love it. And that's so that's number one. Number two, some of the rewards I've gotten personally, thanks to my wife. She put me in a couple competitions for my first two books, and we won an international book award with Tribal Honor, right behind me there. Won an international book award for the best 2023 action adventure book. It was a reader's favorite competition. We went down to Miami, got a gold medal. It was awards banquet, a whole thing. It was really cool. Great experience. Met a lot of very talented authors. And then my second book, Jericho Burning, it just became a Silver Falcon finalist at the Killer Nashville event, which is another huge prestigious award. And we haven't won that one yet. We're just a finalist at this time. I think they announced the winner at the award ceremony, which is August 23rd in Nashville. So those rewards were huge for me. I always tell writers, like, if you write a book, try to put it in a competition, put your name out there, see what happens. I didn't want to do it, but my wife was like, no, this book's good. You should do it. You should do it. She really pushed us to do it. And so then we did, and we ended up, winning. And so I would have never done that without her pushing me, because, but with her push for Tribal Honor, because I was like, oh, it's my first book. There's no way my first book's going to win anything. Nobody's first book wins anything. And to get that, actually, when we won that award, they sent us an email right away. Basically, the email just said, don't be surprised if we don't read your book at all, because we have so many submissions. So I was like, oh, great. They're just going to toss my book into the trash. And then we ended up winning the whole thing. And the same thing happened with Jericho Burning with the Killer Nashville event. They were basically like, yeah, there's so many applicants that don't be disheartened if you don't get a call back from us or anything. And I was like, okay, but then we ended up getting on those lists, which was huge, because you just network so well with these people. And like for me, I'm just blessed to be at the table of some of these authors that I've met at these things. At the Killer Nashville event, I was looking up a lot of the names, and I'm like, these are New York Times bestsellers. Like, these are huge names in the industry. And so anyways, that's been my experience so far. Very blessed, very lucky. I really don't think I get here without the community that's been behind me. I have a a very good community of people that have supported me from the beginning, whether they've left good reviews and things like that, or promoted my book for me just because they believed in me. Ryan, you've definitely been like that. So by the way, thank you, sir. But people like yourself really helped me in this author journey, and I think those have been the best rewards so far, is meeting people and in this community that I've had around me since the beginning.
Well, congratulations on all of that, man. You never know what's
Yeah.
going to happen. You put your name in a hat, maybe it gets picked, maybe it doesn't. It's a crapshoot, right?
Well,
It's
yeah.
like going to Vegas. You don't know if you're gonna. But so here's the funny thing about Vegas, though. Play long enough, you never change the stakes, unless when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
There's a line for you. If anyone knows where that came from, let me know in the comments. Curious to hear if anyone picked up that reference. But you killed it, man. Honestly, I mean, the best way we can celebrate is by doing this.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
That's great. Nailed it.
Yeah. No, seriously, it's got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels great. Yeah, it feels really good.
For show. Hashtag like a boss is what is it. And honestly, let me, and I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. In some cases, depending on who you ask and depending on what kind of, because everyone has different kinds of feelings about what relationships are and what relationships could be or should be. But in my opinion, behind every great man is a great woman. And the two of you are just killing it, man. So my hats are off to both you and the missus.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she's that's definitely true in my case. She's amazing. Like I said, I always tell people, if I didn't have her, I'd write these books, and about 12 people would read them, and 6 of those copies would be my mom and dad buying multiple copies to read themselves. So with her, she definitely gets the word out there, brings in new readers, and like she's brought in this, like I said, community of people that I never would have built relationships with before without her, and I'm just forever grateful for that.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And granted, I could say this. We can say this about T.G. Brown all day long on this episode of And I Quote. Do not forget to like and share. And if you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. But I think it's fair to say, but because you and the missus do such a good job, you're both money. All right, you're both so money, you just don't even know it. You're like big bears, man. So honestly, I gotta say it. I had to say it. It was going to happen one way or the other. Flip side of the coin, though, different side of the fence. What are some of the challenges about being a writer?
Challenges. Oh, I think the major challenges are within yourself. For me, anyways, I think that when you are writing a book, that first draft is never good. And so I think for me, I was getting used to like, okay, that first draft's not good, and that's okay. Like being okay with the first few drafts not being what you want, and I think just getting over the hump that that people aren't going to like it, or it won't be well received. I think one piece of advice I heard from an author was that if you write something that you personally like yourself, you're not so indifferent that nobody else is going to like it, right? Somebody's going to relate to what you wrote and like what you wrote. And so that's always been a challenge for me. And then just like the consistency of writing, it's something you have to do every single day. I think that you have to stay on it in some shape or form, and put some work or effort. I think of it like with my other things that I do in my life, whether it's police work or CrossFit or defensive tactics. I think that I have to do a little bit each day to grow in those things. And so I always tell people consistency, not perfection, right? Nobody's perfect. Don't worry about being perfect. Just be consistent in your craft. And that's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do it every single day. As we know, with writers, we get writer's block. We get to a spot where it's not coming to us. The ideas aren't flowing like they should. So I've tried to really put in healthy techniques to overcome those things, but it's still hard. It's hard. I've taken up meditation recently, which is, for those that know me, is something that I would have never done a couple of years ago, but now I'm getting used to it because I'm trying to get any advantage to keep my brain open to ideas, and meditation was one that helps, as well as other things that I do. And so I think those are the main challenges, right? And so yeah.
I got you, man. I got you. Fair points. Fair points. Luke goes on to say, fitness for me has had a direct correlation with improving my writing routine. Discipline built in the gym translates to the writing game.
Yes, it does. 100%. That guy is money and he doesn't even know it as well. Yeah,
Please,
he's
Luke,
totally
please
correct.
tell me you've seen the movie. Please, because TJ Brown has not done his homework yet, and it's so sad. When he
I
tells
know
me,
I'm so
he's like,
behind.
dude, I
I
love you, but
failed
I've
you.
never seen this movie, and it's still me and the missus still not seen. I'm like, come on, man, it's only 96 minutes long.
I know.
But Luke,
We're
if
gonna
you've
do
seen
it.
the movie, please let me know if you have. If you have, then great. But if you haven't, both you and TG Brown have homework to do at the conclusion of this episode. So
Yeah, no, but he's totally correct. I feel exactly the same way as Luke does in that. It's
thank you, Luke.
he
Appreciate it.
he
We
watched it.
and we loved it. That's what
No,
Luke said. There you go. Thank you.
I'm the only one not doing his homework.
You're the one holding out, man. You got to get
I
on it,
know.
son.
We'll get it. We'll get it. I'll get the misses on it too. I feel I'm an outcast. I failed you, Master Wayne.
Cool.
No,
I have failed you,
anyway.
Anakin. I have failed you. Yeah. Obi-Wan
Uh,
Kenobi and Revenge of the Sith. No, it's cool, man. I get it. But yeah, fitness,
Yeah.
according to your writing routine, it correlates between the two. I get it.
Yeah, I think there's a correlation. I think it opens your brain up. I don't know what the scientific term of it is, but it definitely does for me. And I think there's like videos of Louis L'Amour back in the day hitting the heavy bag and stuff like that. He would do that to open, his brain for writing sometimes, and I think that that's super important. It's also just healthy, right? It's we sit down in chairs a lot when we write. You're stationary. Our bodies were meant to move, and I always tell people I think our bodies are incredible machines if we know how to treat them right. And it's just figuring out how to treat them right. I think that there's a lot of misinformation, so it's hard to dial that in. And everybody's body is differently, but I think that moving in some shape or form, whether it's just a casual walk or little bike rides or something, or weightlifting or CrossFit, whatever it works for you, that's what you got to do. And I think that just helps your long-term health as well as your writing. So
It's like the PSA we used to hear when we were kids. The more you know.
yeah.
There's another reference for you. But all's fair, man. All's fair in those pieces of things that you do to get the writing machines going. Any other pieces of advice you would give to aspiring writers out there?
Piece of advice. Well, just keep going. Your writing's going to change someone's life one day. I think that telling yourself that's gonna help you. I think every author has to have the mindset that their book is awesome, right? I think that with if you go in there with the mindset that this sucks or it's probably gonna suck because you're sitting there telling yourself that the whole time. So don't underestimate the power of positive thinking. I think that's what I would tell everyone. I always tell people that, like, just tell yourself it's going to change someone's life. It's going to help them. It's going to connect with someone. And if your writing connects with one person or helps one person or changes something for someone in the best way possible, then it is 110% worth publishing a book. That's the way I feel, and I think that's the way most writers feel. And so I think with that thought in mind, it will keep you going. And so that's my piece of advice.
So in the words of Morgan Freeman, he's right, it makes what was I trying to say earlier? It makes really good sense. Not perfect sense, because there's no such thing as perfection. We can say the word, doesn't mean that we're perfect. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not. TG Brown has admitted on camera he's not perfect, and that's okay. There's no shame in that. There's just, honestly, unless you're, Fee, or also known as the kid in The Quick of the Dead, where he says, "Is it possible? Is it possible to improve on perfection?" Anyway, that's a story for another day entirely. What's up, Leo DiCaprio? We love you, man. But you mentioned it earlier, so let's talk about this for a minute. Tribal honor. What exactly? How did this story come about? And for someone who's unfamiliar with it, you're locked in an elevator. You got to give the elevator pitch. What is tribal honor exactly?
Well, tribal honor follows Warren Lawson. He's a tribal police officer on the Jericho Nation reservation. It's about a case. He gets this elder abuse case that seems very cut and dry. As he digs into it, he finds kind of a high level corruption within his own tribe, and also gets in the crosshairs of two Native American brothers who are very good at killing. So he gets in the crosshairs of some pretty bad guys as well. And yeah, and it kind of goes from there. I used my own experiences as a police officer and implemented that into this book. Tribal Honor was a book that I wanted to shed light on a horrible crime, which is tribal elder abuse. Native American elders get victimized on a daily basis, and I wanted to have a story that was both entertaining and educational. And that's what I felt that we did. I think that with Tribal Honor, you learn a lot about how those crimes happen to people and how often it does happen, how easy it is because the elder population is very vulnerable. And but then you also get the fisticuffs, right? You get the action scenes, you get the shootouts, you get all those good things too as well that I implemented into the story. So that is Tribal Honor in a nutshell.
Good stuff. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Longmire, the TV series, because he had a lot of dealings with the tribal police out there in the TV series Longmire. I haven't read the book, sorry, but and then it also reminds me just a little bit of Wind River. So
yeah, I'd say it's definitely got the gritty feel of Wind River. You know, I think when people read that book or the people that have read it, they texted me and thought that it was real life, like they thought that it really happened. And that was what I wanted. I wanted people to feel like they were in it, like this could happen. And using my own experiences and things like that, that definitely was on the forefront. When I wrote Tribal Honor, I actually didn't outline it at all. I just sat down and started typing because I knew where I wanted to end the story. I knew certain scenes that I had in my mind and how I was going to connect them. And I just kind of went in and did it. And yeah, I wrote straight from the heart with that one. I think Tribal Honor is one of those books that it's got the action of an Expendables movie, but it's also got the deep, thought-provoking, heartfelt things as well that will leave you kind of pondering things after you read it as well. So it's got a little deeper meaning than just an action flick, you know.
Fair enough. Sounds really good. Once again, I'll have to pick copies of these up. At some point, because like I said, my TBR list is terrible. It's 600 miles long. It's going to take me forever to get through it. I mean, I may be 85 by the time I'm done with all of it. I'm sorry, but we know too many people. I know too many writers. T.G. Brown and I know too many writers, from the Lukes to the Nates to the Grayson Sullivans to the Brina Williamsons of the world to Jeff Pantabon. Like all these writers, it's too much, man. We got like 31.
And they're all phenomenal. They're all phenomenal writers. Like everyone you just named are phenomenal. I've read most of their work, so almost everyone's. I got a pretty big reading list as well. But everyone, it's like ever since I've met all of you on the Discord, I'm just like buying books left and right, and I'm reading them. I'm like, these are top tier storytelling. Like it's awesome. It's really cool to be a part of this group.
I would totally agree with you. I mean, we got things from this one from Brina with
such a sweet cover,
which is a ridiculously good-looking cover. That is like ridiculous. I said to myself, if there were a female Indiana Jones movie, this is the poster I would want hung up in my room. Honestly,
100%.
This is like pure greatness at its peak, in my opinion. Brina, you're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, even the Longwood Trail here by Jeff Pintabano, who we just talked about we talked with him last week. Fantastic stuff. So, he's and then look at all this. Veritas is just all these titles, man. Look at this.
Crushing it.
It's insane.
Crushing it. Unwanted Passenger by Terrence Leahy, great one as well. And I've read Sunrise Over the Valley by George Cottonwood. Absolutely enjoyable book. Yeah, I think the next one on that list I'm going for is the Longwood Trail, because westerns love me a good western. So but I'm sure I'll make my way through all of them, just because God, there's just such talented writers. I love it.
Yeah, honest. By the way, Luke brings up a valid point. Luke says, if I could have any superpower, it'd be the ability to read books via osmosis. Yeah. Could we please get that superpower, because then I could get through all these books behind me on my TBR. Like the entire bookshelf is TBR, TG Brown. I kid you not.
Dude, I know. We're all gonna just have to schedule like a camping trip somewhere with no Wi-Fi and just read for weeks.
No internet, no cell phone.
Just a stack of books, and we're just reading books. Just a
stack of books, campground, maybe a tent, maybe a couple of sleeping bags or an air mattress, right? We can have air mattresses, right? Something like that, and those what do you call those things? Quad chairs, camping chairs, something like that. Is that what we carry? Yeah, like let's get a bunch of those and just go off and get away from it all, right? Get away from the grind. Just plant ourselves in a chair with a campfire, some s'mores. What do you mean? No. Do you want some more? I've already had some. So how can I have some more of nothing? You're killing me, Smalls. We can have s'mores. We can have
the,
we have
the
sandwiches. We can have
dad jokes right there. That was a
Exactly.
dad joke if I ever heard one.
Exactly. You're welcome, buddy. All that stuff. Yeah. I know I've had this, kind of not so much like Vincent Hanna had, I have this recurring dream. I'm sitting at this big banquet table. I can't even say it without
That's
laughing.
a great scene. Great
big
scene.
banquet table. Yeah. Anyway, I had this dream where a long time ago, and I'm thinking of this now. I can have this dream where me and everyone else in the Discord, we're all sitting out there on a nice campground, away from everything, away from the cell phones, the tablets, computers, whatever else. And all we have is a stack of books. And we just read for hours and hours on end. Wouldn't that be nice? Honestly.
Yes.
Getting away
Yes.
from it all. And
Yes,
Luke picked up on that Sandlot. Yeah, it was Sandlot reference from When You're Killing Me, Smalls. Yes. I grew up watching that movie. I watched it on VHS. I don't know. Did you see that when you were growing up? I don't know if you saw it or not, TJ.
Oh, Sandlot. Yes, I've seen it, but I have not seen it it's probably since I was little as well. But definitely reminds me to watch it again.
Yeah.
Is that based on a Stephen King book too?
No, I don't think
No?
Sandlot's based on a Stephen King.
Or is that Stand By Me? Or is
That's Stand By Me you're thinking
Oh,
of. Yeah.
okay, yeah, I mixed them up. But I've seen both of those movies. Yeah.
No. Sandlot is a good baseball kids summer movie, from the 90s. Even though it's set in the 60s, but it was released in the 90s, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
I'm not that old, guys. I mean, I may look old, but I'm not that old. With the things we say. Once again, this is And I Quote with the guest of honor, TG Brown. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you have any questions for him, let us know in those comments of the chat. If you're joining us live on a replay, thank you so much for doing so. We cannot do this without you. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Western, because we talked about Longwood Trail this, Longwood Trail that, and Sunrise Over the Valley by George Conway. Sooner or later, God's going to cut you down. So I'm just curious. How did this story come about? You're trapped in an elevator. What's the elevator pitch?
Yeah, so this story came about because I was writing it for my dad and dedicated this one for my dad. We grew up bonding over the Western genre. But what Cut Them Down is about two lawmen, Sheriff Everett Wallace and Deputy Jake Reeves. They're Civil War veterans that get a case in their small town of Shannon, Oregon, which is in the Pacific Northwest along the Alsea River. Anyways, there's a murder that happens, pretty heinous murder. They investigate this murder and they find a suspect. They arrest him. Anyways, back then, that would be something that would be death penalty worthy, right? So this suspect's going to be set to hang, and Deputy Jake Reeves receives a note that says that this guy didn't do it. And so now they're like, did we arrest the wrong man? What happened? Did we miss something? And meanwhile, there are some evil forces at work behind the scenes that are, kind of framing this guy, and they don't know why or who until they end up having a final showdown at the end. So it's a Western with mystery, betrayal, love, redemption. It's got it all. It's got men and women banding together to fight evil. So it's got some of the classic Western tropes, but it's definitely a Western. It's a Western that has a new spin. I'm not recreating the wheel by any ways, but it definitely has a new flavor to it that hopefully builds upon this great genre.
It's really good, man. I've read it and it's fantastic. It's great stuff. Everything moves very quickly. The chapters being the amount that they are, and then they move on to the next chapter respectively. That's real smart. I wish to a certain extent, more writers would take their P's and Q's from you, kind sir, because when your chapter is only 2 or 3 pages long, 4 at most, maybe 5, and then it ropes right into the next one, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be it's a read, but it's going to be a quick read because of how quick that the chapters are moving.
Yeah. I think that, like I was saying before the show, I think that making it feel like a cinematic episode of Netflix, like these quick paced chapters with cliffhangers, and just keeps that flow of the story going. And I think a lot of authors have done that. James Patterson, he does it really well. A couple other authors too, and a lot of other authors have adapted this philosophy too, because it makes bigger books easier to digest. And that was ultimately my goal, right? Because sometimes you see a big book and with these big long-winded chapters, and it's just kind of like my ADHD brain, I just start losing interest no matter what it is. And so these short chapters that are quick, get to the point, move to the next point, and I think that helped. Those are my favorite books personally, so I try to write my books like that as well. So all three of my books are definitely quick, fast-paced chapters with revelations or action scenes or whatever it might be that keeps the pages turning.
Well, it's very, very good to me, and it's very, very good work. I might I must say. So if I ever
Thank you.
decide to dive into the waters a little bit further and write a novella or novelette, however it's one of the two, I'm gonna make sure my chapters are like you're giving me like ideas for like if I'm gonna write a story, I want it to move this kind of pace. You know what I mean? Because I don't want things to drag. I don't want things to feel like they're overblown. Don't give away too much exposition. Just give the reader enough, right? But don't give them too much. Just give them enough and let it move on to the next chapter, because the reader can fill in certain blanks as they're reading, or they could come up with theories of to themselves, thinking, oh, well, I think this character is going to move in this direction in the next 2 or 3 chapters, maybe. And then 3 chapters are a big shock happens. They're like, I didn't see that coming. And that's the beauty of writing. That's the beauty of reading it,
Yeah. I think I every book I've written, I write is I take every word seriously, right? I think that it's easy to get long-winded when you're writing a book or over-explain things. And so I really make it a point to try to make every word count and make it as lean as possible for the story, so it just keeps flowing, right? I think that when you over-explain something, it can take a reader out, or if you use too many words to explain something. So every word is just like, I try to analyze that as I'm writing each draft of my book as much as humanly possible until I finally get to the final product. And I think that's why the chapters really flow. And my editors are great. My editors really get on me like, hey, don't use this word. Don't, like, even if it's just the most minuscule use of a word, they're like, take it out, it flows better, and it does, it really does. And so it's really improved my writing. My editors, I use editor, and she's my consultant, Edits by Stacy. She has a whole team of people that does it, and she is a 10, just like absolutely a 10. If I recommend her to any independent author out there trying to look for an editor, she's a very caring, kind individual that has helped my writing grow through the years, and she's taught me a lot about marketing. She was one of the main people that taught my wife and I how to market these books. So yeah, no, I think that's hopefully what people get out of my books is that I don't waste any time, yet there is enough for people to grab onto, right? There's enough for people to relate to. There's enough character development, as well as, I love me the action scenes, but I love developing characters just as much. So I want to have both in each of my books, but not waste any time while I do it.
Even balance there, even balance. What's the name of the services or the website that people can visit if they want to check out this editor team or the editing team that you just spoke of?
It's editsbystacy.com. Yeah, she can find her right there. She's, I think, out of Idaho, but I mean, we work remotely, and I've never actually met her in person. Funny enough, I worked with her but we talk like this on FaceTime all the time. And I mean, I literally will text her and be like, hey, can you help me with this? And she replies in like 2 seconds usually, and is just like, bam, got it. And she just knows her stuff. She knows, she's been in it a while. She knows people. And if she doesn't have the answer, she knows someone that does, and she's phenomenal. And like I said, we were researching a lot about what avenue we should take when we were publishing these books. We found her in our search, talked to her a few times, and we're like, okay, like, this lady, she gets it. She gets the mission. She gets what we're trying to do, and she's going to help us elevate these books. And recommend her to anybody.
There you go. Free plugs, everybody. I support TG Brown. TG Brown supports me. We support you, and everybody supports each other, right? It's rising tide lifts all ships, brother.
Yeah, I think that ultimately, like, the support of other authors and stuff, everybody benefits from that, right? Let's say, I always say, like, my book, Cut Them Down, came out recently, and then, Luke was out there saying, tell me, buy the book, and then when they finish my book, Gun Law comes out, right? And then they all go read Gun Law, then, you know what I mean? And then maybe they finish Gun Law, and then they go back to Sunrise Over the Valley or the Longwood Trail. You know what I mean? It just benefits all of us to promote, if you're with an author in that same genre. I think it just helps everybody involved, right? Because everybody, the readers are going to like all these stories. That's why they're here, right? And I think just sitting there and trying to just do it on your own is not a good marketing strategy, right? I think when you meet and connect with other authors and cheer each other on, it's not only fun because you make friends with these great individuals, but it's just a good business move for everybody involved as well. And it's good for the readers. The readers get to benefit from these great stories. And it was just kind of like funny with Luke's Western coming out July 1st. We didn't plan this. We didn't even know each other's Western was coming out at the certain time until we started talking. But it just worked out so perfectly, almost like it was meant to be, I guess. And it's just a really, really cool thing. And Ryan, when your Western comes out, you can expect us to be doing the same thing.
Yeah, the cat is more or less out of the bag. So for those who want, because we meant to announce this last week during our interview with Jeff Pintabana, unfortunately, we got so wrapped up in the conversation, I totally it left my mind. TG, I'm sorry, but to give everyone a heads up, since we're all here, TG Brown and I are here, you are here, who may be watching and listening to this right now. And by the way, thank you for being here. We cannot do this without you. The announcement is here. I submitted a story for a Western Roundup anthology being published by Veritas Entertainment. And they decided to pick my story as well as, I believe, 10 or 11 others. I think it is 9 or 10 others. So there's going to be a bunch of, I think it's over 10. Maybe I think there's 12. Luke, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 10 selections altogether or is it like 12? I feel like you add a little bit more numbers to the repertoire. I'm not sure. But there's a dozen or so stories that were picked out of the X amount of number of submissions that there were. And mine just happened to be one of them. So as of the end of July, beginning of August, I'm going to be an officially published author, and it's a short story. It's a Western short story. It's called Wolf of the West is the name of the story, and it to not give too much away, it's about a man and his friend. So it's about two friends who are on a very important they have a goal in mind that they want to accomplish, and I'll just leave it at that. So I don't want to give too much away because otherwise that would be considered spoilers. So Wolf of the West, it's coming. Get ready. End of July, beginning of August. More information is going to come out in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. Once Veritas sends us the information in our emails or social media, I'm sure they'll post about it on social media, right, Luke? That's kind of what you do, right? Social media is your bag, baby. Yeah. So, okay, so we got some information about that here. Luke says, yeah, I believe it ended with about 15. We ended up putting in 15 stories. 15, ladies and gentlemen, 15. And it's coming out July 22nd. There it is. There's the date. There it is. It's right there in stone. It's coming. So thank you, Luke. Awesome. Appreciate the
congratulations.
Thank you.
Give him a round of applause, everybody. That
Thank
is
you.
No small feat. That is amazing, my friend. I'm so excited for you. Yeah, and again, now we just get more Western stories to sink our teeth into. This is great for the Western genre, and all of us joining the fight to bring it back. I love it, man. Gives me goosebumps.
Goosebumps. There's a word I haven't heard in a bit. No, I've heard it before, but still, no. It's that's the announcement I wanted to make to everybody here. So it's true. It's happening. If you had told me 30 years ago that I was going to be a published writer, I would have said you were crazy. Because for those of you who know me, and for those of you who know me really, really well, you know that I'm very good at verbalizing what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking, but I'm not very good at putting my thoughts on paper. All right. I'm not very good at putting my thoughts on a keyboard, right, TG Brown, because I'm so used to verbalizing my thoughts and my feelings about what's going on in my itty bitty little mind. Because I've watched so many movies and I've absorbed so many pieces of media over the years, and I'm just so used to being a visual learner and a visual person. And I'm just, basically used to verbally expressing myself. But no, they're like, no. We're going to put this in a book. How does that sound? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I didn't see that one. You didn't see that coming? No, I didn't, Quicksilver. I didn't. So it's a big deal. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm looking forward to seeing where this takes me. I started writing again after 5 years of taking some time away from it. I started writing during the pandemic, just to give a little quick backstory. Started toying with it during the pandemic. And then once we started going back to school and work, because I was still in college at the time. So I focused on college, focused on my classes, and I put it away. And then 5 years later, I started hearing about this little thing known as a podcast. It's called the Men's Adventure Fiction Podcast. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, TG, but it happens to be the most popular thing in the books right now, popular thing in town, this thing right here. Yes, so I started watching it. I started listening to it, and I noticed that Luke and Nate were the hosts, producers. They were calling the shots. And then they said, hey, guys, guess what? We're going to put something together. It's called a Discord, where people, basically, it's a social media app that you can put on your phone or mobile device, computer or your tablet, right? You can put it on your tablet. And you can dive in there. You can text with people. You can voice chat with people in the lounge, which is what it's called. And it's a social media app for people to get together share ideas, share their thoughts, whatever's going on, depending on what the subject matter is. So I joined the Men's Adventure Fiction Discord more specifically. And because of that, I was inspired to get back into writing. And here we are. I got a story coming out July 22nd. So get ready, guys. It's coming. Wolf of
That's
the West,
awesome.
it's coming. And then more people are chiming in the chat here. Let's give him a shout out. Terrence is here. Speaking of writers, let's talk about this guy.
Oh,
Terrence
thank
is a
you.
man who wears $50,000 suits, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday, and he's the real Captain America. Because on social media, he posted this for 4th of July. He is literally wearing, did you see this?
I saw that. Yeah, I did see that.
He's wearing a Captain America suit, and and we said this before, well, I'll say it again. Behind every great man is a great woman. Agent Carter, his wife, Terrence's wife, is Agent Carter. So we have a real Captain America and a real Agent Carter as a member of our family. So the fact that we got, one of Marvel's some of their earliest characters thrown into the mix of this Discord, TG Brown, makes me happy. So Terrence says,
yes,
just got a copy of Cut Them Down on Audible. Looking forward to diving in.
Thank you, Terrence. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I really appreciate the support, and totally going to echo everything Ryan just said. He is the man. He is awesome.
I mean, if you want to, honestly, I can say this about everybody we can say this about anybody in the Discord all day long, but if I'm going to say that anybody who's anybody is money and they just don't even know it, it's Terrence. It's Terrence. Honestly.
Yeah, no, it's such a great Discord, and like you mentioned that inspiring you. It's very motivating to see all these writers and stuff. Like, it makes me want to get back in that chair and type. I'm talking about it right now. I'm about to see you later. Gotta go. Right. It's awesome. It really is, and that's what, like I said, ultimately we all benefit from it. That motivating from each other. So it's a very supportive group as well.
It is. It very much is. And support is what we need in this dark, twisted world that we live in. Luke goes on to say, breaking news on that date. It will hit social media this coming week. We salute you. All right, Luke.
Ooh.
Thanks, man. I'm excited.
Awesome.
I want to see what I want to see, TG? I want to see what the cover is going to look like. I want to see the cover.
Yeah.
I want to see what this bad boy is going to look like when we, as a family, as a community, post about it on social media, tell everybody to get the pre-order links, check out the Amazon page, all that kind of jazz. And then Luke says Terrence is verified money.
Confirmed.
Can we do that? Is that legit? Terrence, are you hearing this in your studio back there? Are you telling the missus about this, about how the fact that you both dress up as Captain America and Agent Carter at the same time? Honestly, it's killer, awesome. Man. You're like a bear, man. Anyway. But thank you so much for confirming certain things about the book. Luke, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate TG Brown, everybody here. So my next question for you, TG, is simply this. What has been some memories for you, or how have the interactions been like with your fans when you're at book signings or you're reading the reviews on social media? What has it been like for you going to these either book signings or, events where you're in the limelight, your name is splattered all over the marquee, and you're doing your thing? What's it been like for you so far, even though you're still in the early stages of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's like paparazzi following me around or anything like that, but the book signings are fun. It's usually friends and family of mine that show up, and it's more of a celebration. We'll hang out, have fun. It's been great experiences. The International Book Awards that we went to, another great experience where I got to network with a lot of authors. Everyone was kind and just welcoming because I was very much probably the newest to the author world then, and people really welcomed me in and were supportive as well. Like we just talked about the Men's Adventure Fiction Podcast Discord and all that, like meeting the people in there, like everybody's just super kind and welcoming from the start. As far as like reviews go, mostly positive as well. I think I've gotten a few, negative reviews, but it's usually like because there's poor language, like bad language in it, or too much violence or something of that nature. And I think whenever I've gotten those reviews, I've just kind of just take it on the chin. Sometimes bad reviews can be constructive, and I actually do. You listen, if there's a review with an actual like constructive criticism, I actually don't mind it at all, because that's just going to make me better. I think that you can turn a bad review into something good. And so I haven't really gotten a bad review like so that was constructive. Is more like more just kind of like people that just said that they didn't like bad language in it. And I was like, well, that's just something that adds to the realism of, because cops tend to use bad language sometimes, but things like that. So I'm just kind of when I get positive reviews, I celebrate them. I'm very excited to get them. I think reviews for an author are everything. When you're trying to promote these books out there, I actually learned a statistic early on that 89% of people who buy your book will buy it solely on what reviews it's getting. If they don't know you, for example, and they look at a book and they see that it has no reviews or one review or whatever, people tend to not to shy away from that. But if you start collecting reviews early on and people see that and they see that it's getting well received or not, that could really change your life as an author and really get the word out there. So I always am very much of a guy that pushes for getting reviews out there as much as possible. And I try to leave reviews for every book that I read, especially for independent authors, because I know how important it is. So yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Appreciate that. And by the way, this is something we forgot to mention earlier on in this program, but Luke said something earlier. He says a good editor is worth their weight in gold.
Yep. Again, money, verified money with that statement, man. Yeah, no, he's 100% correct. It's the authors get the credit on the front of the book, but these editors are the heroes behind the scenes. I can't tell you how many times I had to rewrite something or take stuff out or whatever it might be, and it ended up benefiting from that because I listened. I think that when you're working with editors, it's easy to take it personally because authors we're sensitive, right? We put ourselves out there with these books, and when somebody says, hey, this isn't working, or hey, this is not necessarily good, we get hurt because in our minds we love it, right? But the thing is, these editors are coming from a completely neutral stance, and you just have to remind yourself that that neutral stance is going to help your book progress, and to listen when they give you constructive feedback like that. And so that's a challenge for an author, but editors are worth every penny. They're not there. Just remind yourself they're not out to get you. They're there to help you. And I recommend every author that publishes a book to get a good editor behind them, because it makes all the difference. Definitely has made a lot of scenes in my book sing a lot better, with whether they gave me new verbiage to describe something, or they just give me an idea, or they just change the sequence of chapters to make the story flow better. Definitely have been thankful for that, because when I listened and then put it together, I was like, wow, that's what they meant, and it's a good full circle moment for every author. And I think that's a challenge that authors have to face at the beginning, but the more you do it, the better you get.
Very true. Consistency is the key,
Yes,
keep pushing, man.
Yep.
For sure. I mean, because of the Discord, I got inspired to write again, and here we are, and I got a story coming out in the next couple of weeks. Terrence says, congratulations, Ryan. Thank you, Terrence. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, Terrence, appreciate that. I really do. Because, not to get too far into the weeds here, because I don't want to make this about me. This is about T.G. Brown. He's the guest of honor, not me. I mean, I'm just a poor schmo who got lucky. But I will say, because of the Discord, because I've been inspired to write so much, just to give everyone a really quick backstory, behind the scenes, things have not been sunshine and rainbows for me on a lot of different fronts. But with the podcast, this is something I love doing. It's a hobby of mine. I don't know if anyone knew this or not, but I love what I do when it comes to the podcast. I love what I do. And if you love something that you do, it's never called work. This podcast that we put out every week, I do 3 shows a week. Sometimes I do 4. It's not work for me. This is fun. And then when I'm sitting down and I'm writing at a keyboard, which, like I said, I'm not always very good at expressing myself on a keyboard. I'm better at doing it verbally. But now that I'm writing and getting, and practicing more and more and more by, punch the keys for God's sake, as Sean Connery taught me in Finding Forrester, which is a great writer's movie. If you've never seen the movie Finding Forrester with Sean Connery, check it out. It's a really good movie about being a writer. It's a really, really good movie. It's a bit of a Good Will Hunting vibe, but it's very, very good to me, and it's a very, very good movie. So check out Sean Connery's performance in Finding Forrester. I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar that year, to be perfectly honest with you. But still, I digress. But yeah, no, just doing writing and doing the podcasting are 2 things that I love to do, and they're hobbies. So now I'm not getting paid for them, and that's fine, because I do have a job that brings in the bacon. But But podcasting and writing has been fun for me, so I'll just leave it at that. With that being said, more people are chiming in here. What is he? Terrence says, I need to get that check mark for my socials, laugh out loud. Yes, you do. You need to be verified on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, all of it, Terrence. You need that blue check. Do you know what he's talking about? The blue check mark. That's what you need.
Yeah.
You need the check mark. Just like TG Brown needs the blue check mark. He needs it too. Because you deserve it. No, you deserve it. Don't shy away from it, TG. You deserve it, man.
I'll lean into it.
You know, you're a badass mamma jamma. That's all I'm going to say. Terrence goes on to say, it's been so cool to see TG share the book launches and podcasts on his socials.
Oh, thank you, Terrence. Yeah, I try to bring people in with me because I really do believe that when these books get published, it's very much a team thing. It's the community around me, and so I want to bring them in with me along the journey. You know, so I try to share everything because I want to share it with them. I want to share every moment with these people that have supported me from the beginning, because without them I wouldn't be here, right? And so I just never want to have a time where I'm not grateful for that, because every day goes by. I often joke that every day feels like Thanksgiving because I'm always thankful for something, you know. And so I definitely like to share all that and bring them along with me on the journey, because without them, you know, we don't win international book awards. We don't get, you know, to be the top new action adventure release like we did with Cut Them Down. So like I said, you can write all these books, but without the people there to share it with you or share it with, it really doesn't. It's not worth it, and it doesn't go anywhere, in my opinion.
Fair to say that teamwork makes the dream work, TG?
110%. Yes, it's definitely a team thing.
I would venture to say so as well. This is something I normally don't ask my guests. I sometimes ask my guests when I'm sitting with them at a Comic-Con, because I go to Comic-Cons a lot during the year. Comic-Cons are fun, which, by the way, hopefully one of these days we're going to see you be tabling at one of these conventions, selling your books, because I want to see you there, man. We want to bring you. You know, do stuff in your area, you know, get your feet wet, do as much practice as you can. But then when you're ready, we want to bring you all the way over to the Northeastern United States, because you're all the way over here. You're too far away. We need to bring you over here, you know, this side of the fence, you know, because the East Coast is just as much fun as the West. So we got to bring you over here, brother.
Yeah, no, I will be in Nashville in the weekend of August 23rd, I think. So I think we get there August 19th. So I don't know if anyone listening, if you guys are over there, I'll be on a panel that weekend. They haven't given me the date yet when they expect me to be there for that, but it's a writers conference. So if you're, so there's classes and all kinds of things. So if you guys are there, you know, come by, say hi, let's hang out, let's have fun. I think the writers conference, there's a lot of classes and stuff that we can learn from as well. So I will be somewhat over east there in Nashville. So like I said, I'd love to see everybody and connect with people while I'm over there.
Good stuff. Terrence is asking, is it Killer Nashville? Is that the name of it, or just?
Yes, sir. That's what it's called, Killer Nashville. So they actually do. So the competition is for authors as well as screenwriters. So there's a competition called I think the Silver Claymore, award goes to the best screenwriters as well. So there'll be movie buffs there as well, trying to get their their scripts turned into movies. So it'd be a pretty wide range of talent there, which I'm pretty excited about.
Ooh, excellent, Smithers. This is gonna be TG Brown.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I've never been to Nashville. I've never been to Tennessee, but I've heard good things about it. And obviously, Nashville is Music City, USA. So a lot of music there, folks. A lot of music. I've
never been there, but I'm excited to go.
You should be.
It's a shorter flight this year. Last year we flew all the way to Miami from Oregon, and that was a
long
trip.
one.
It was a fun time being in Miami because it was like November, where it's cold and miserable in Oregon. It was nice and warm in Florida, so it was a nice escape there. But I'm definitely looking forward to a shorter flight right over there to Nashville, Tennessee. So it'll be fun. I'm excited. Everyone says the music's great. You know, the bars are great, the restaurants are great. So we'll be. Yeah, we'll be sure to. I don't know how much line dancing I'll do, but I'll definitely go and just kind of take in the town over there as well.
That's great. Now you're gonna kill it, man. You're gonna do Killer Nashville is the name of this conference. I've never heard of this before, but this is all news to me. But maybe we'll make it out there one time. You never know. Possibilities are endless, folks. You never know what's gonna happen. So here's one that's an interesting one. Favorite motivational quote. What's your favorite one? It could be a word or phrase, something you may have heard from a movie or something you may have read in a book.
Oh man, that's hard. I don't even know, man. I don't think there's no not there's quotes I've heard that I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, and then I just kind of moved on, I guess. But I don't know. There's actually one from one of my favorite authors. It's Michael Connolly. He writes the Harry Bosch series, which if you haven't read those books, great mysteries. Michael Connolly writes stories that are as realistic to the detective life as I've ever experienced. Actually, he does a great job making it authentic
Lincoln
and real.
Lawyer.
Yeah, he does Lincoln Lawyer as well. But his Harry Bosch character, he has a saying that so when they talk about lives in general, because cops get cynical and stuff, and they'll say, like, oh, that homeless guy doesn't matter or whatnot, and Harry Bosch, though, his belief is that everybody counts or nobody counts. And so that always stuck with me when I was a young officer and today, because it's easy to get burnt out in this job, and it's easy to forget why you came here to do this job, why you decided to live your life of service that way. And so that saying, even though it's a fictional story, to me, I've always had that in my head whenever a case challenges me, or I'm feeling burnt out. I just remember, like, okay, everybody counts or no one counts, and I never want to be the one that thinks that nobody's life matters, because everybody's life does in some shape or form. And so, yeah, that always stuck with me. That's definitely something that has pushed me to help victims that I didn't think would get help, because that belief, that core belief. So that's the only one as far as like CrossFit and writing motivation. I can't really think of any, but that quote was always so profound to me, because it's so true, and I think that's why he wrote it. It's a fictional story, but I think he also wrote it for people like me that are actively in the police field, dealing with the day in and day out traumas of other people, and to remember that, like, hey, the stuff you're doing matters. You need to keep pushing forward until you're done with this job. So yeah. Anyways, not to get too sentimental, but that's my quote.
No, I dig it, man. I haven't seen any of the Bosch television series, but I know Titus Welliver is the lead actor on those, and
Yeah.
he's a great actor. He's been a great character actor for many, many years. I mean, he could be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on what character he's playing. I mean, the guy played a conniving billionaire on Law and Order SVU for a couple episodes, going up against Mariska Hargitay's character, Captain Benson. I mean, the guy he knows, man. He just knows how to do it.
Yeah, he's exactly what you picture too in the books. Like, they did a really good job casting him as Bosch. Yeah. And the TV shows are really good. They really follow the books. Yeah. So no, definitely a recommendation if you like crime. If you like your stories to be realistic, like those are very, very realistic. Not in the gritty sense, but just how procedures and police navigate investigations. You could tell he did his homework, and there's it's the devil's in the details, as they say. And he definitely is very detail oriented in his stories. So.
Oh, that's very true. Luke goes on to say, I was there for BoucherCon last year. Lots of great food in Nashville, TG.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'll probably partake in some good meals while I'm there.
Let's see. That's such a great one, TG. My favorite has always been to see a man beaten not by a better opponent, but by himself is a tragedy. Custiamato, I believe, ties to my counseling philosophy, says Luke. Okay.
That is very profound, my friend. Yeah, I very much agree with that. Yeah, it's I think in my interview with them on Men's Adventure podcast, I that was what I always say, you versus you. That's how you should be every day. Like, you should always focus on bettering yourself, and if you're better than you were yesterday, that's always the goal. And that quote pretty embodies that quite well. If you can be your own undoing. So definitely keep going.
I thought he was going to pull a Rocky Balboa quote from that for a second. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Lucas. I'm just kidding. I know you've seen all the Rockies, all the Rambos. I know how big of a fan you are of First Blood. Let's not forget about First Blood.
You love that movie. Phenomenal, by the way. One of my favorite books of all time is the Rambo First Blood. The original book by David Morrell. Fantastic. 10 times grittier than the movie, but I heard it was. Yeah. It is so good. That's a book that you sit down and you're like, you're thinking about it afterwards. Like it provokes deep thought as well as has the action and the character development. It had all the things. Recommend it to everyone, even if you've seen the movies. Read the book. Like just trust me on that one. You'll thank me later.
There you go. So now we know what I have to do. I have to add the Heat book that you spoke of earlier, written by Michael Mann, right? Which is a follow-up to the original Heat movie of 1995, which turns 30 this year, believe it or not. That's insane. And then there's the original novel that because I already knew that ran because it says I think it says in the opening credits like based on the book by David Morrell, but I haven't read the book. But I know Luke and a bunch of other people in the Discord have told us time and time again, you got to read First Blood. You got to read First Blood. You got to read First Blood. Like David Morrell, like nails it out of the park. Great film, great book, just hands down. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Luke, I get it. You're an obsessive compulsive First Blood fan. Calm down, man. I'll get it. You know,
to his defense, it is as good as he says it is. I'm sorry, but it is good. It is a very well done book. Very gripping. So.
I'm going to add it to my list. Believe me, I have a, thriftbooks.com. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but thriftbooks.com, get an account. It's free. Add a bunch of books to your wish list. I've added a bunch of books to my wish list. And yes, I can have access to it. I can look at it whenever I want. And then when I'm ready to buy the copy of that particular book, it'll be there waiting for me. So it's going to happen. Yeah. Don't worry, Luke. First Blood. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right.
It's on the to-do list.
We'll do it live. Frack it. Do it live. Anyway. So that's a line from another thing that has nothing to do with this show. What does have to do with this show is the fact that you are watching or listening to And I Quote right now with T.G. Brown, the guest of honor, who's an indie writer, a CrossFit athlete, and a or a detective. Excuse me. Hello. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. And if you're watching this live, we're on Memorax. Thank you so much for doing so. Luke says, "Hey, Rocky quote for you: Until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life." That is so true, though. That is, I mean. I feel like all 60 Rocky / Creed movies have at least 5 to 10 quotes that you just want to plug out from under them. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I mean, that one is so true because unless you put yourself out there and you do it and you write a story and you see if it gets a response from anybody or not, you're not going to know. So unless you start believing in yourself or believe in your writing, your podcast, whatever it is, whatever industry that you're in, until you start believing in yourself that you have that skill, you're not going to have a life, period. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, would you agree? I mean, am I off here?
Oh, I totally agree. You guys are making me want to go back and rewatch the Rocky movies at these quotes and these. Like, I
don't know if you knew this or not, but there's 9 of them now, including the Creed movies. So
Yeah. No, I love it. I used to watch Rocky 4 all the time as a kid.
Really, Rocky 4 out of those?
I don't know.
Come on,
I think it was the Dolph Lundgren villain kind of got me.
I must break you. Come on, man. Really?
And then the Creed movies. The Creed movies are really good too. I actually like.
Dude, Michael B. Jordan just knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, no, those are all well done as well. But yeah, you guys are. There's a lot of Rocky quotes that I need to go and.
There's like 30 million of them.
Yeah, I'm sure there was plenty of Rocky quotes that motivated me to go to the gym back in the day. I'm just blanking on them right now. Yeah.
Well, trust me when I tell you, if I'm going to go to the gym, the first thing out of my playlist is going to be "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're not playing "Eye of the Tiger" while you're doing CrossFit there, TG, in the great state of Oregon, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, believe me, it's on the playlist. So that and Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Yeah, the whole works.
Yeah. No, okay, Luke is asking the $1 million question. What is your beef with Rocky 4? So he's referring this to me. All right, so here's my problem. There's a couple of problems. 1, it's too cheesy. 2, it's way over the top. And 3, it's just so different from the first 3, Rocky 1, 2, and 3. I can't take it seriously. And by the way, spoiler alert for a 45, 50-year-old movie, when Creed, it's Apollo, right? So when Apollo dies in the ring, it doesn't feel real to me. It's so fake. It doesn't feel like he actually died. It feels like he did take a big punch to the gut or the face, whatever it was, and he goes down, but there's no way I could see him dying from it. I can't see it. I'm sorry. There's too much cheese in this pizza, okay? There's too much cheese in the pizza, TG. It doesn't work for me. In the words of Randy Jackson from American Idol, it's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me.
Rocky even the workout montage. I mean, that was a great workout
It's
montage with
fine,
him in
but
the
work.
mountains and stuff. Come on.
True. I will give you that. Though well, everybody loves the Rocky montage. Any training montage is going to be gold, right? It's pure gold. It's good, but other than that, I can't really go back and watch Rocky 4. I just can't. It is not.
That's
Let me
fair.
put it to you this way: it is nowhere near or even being worthy of being rewatchable, as to me anyway. Rocky 2, especially Rocky 3. Rocky 3 has got some great messages in there. It's got some great stuff, especially when he has that conversation with his wife, who is it, Adrian? Because I'm afraid, Adrian. I'm afraid. You know, like that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That whole
No, I
thing.
agree. Yeah.
That
I love
thing.
all the Rocky movies. I'll be honest.
All right, but
love them all. So yeah.
You love them all. Okay, here's the deal. For me, this is just me. This is just what works for me. Rocky 4, Rocky 5, hashtag not canon, never happened.
Okay, actually, Actually, now that you mention it, Rocky 5 that's the one where he fights the young guy.
The kid
He's training him, and then he fites him in the street at the end. Yeah, that one wasn't that was probably my least favorite one.
It's terrible.
All of them. But yeah.
It's not very good. Luke has a comment on this. Well, first of all, he says Rocky 4, it's incredible, laughing emoji, and then he goes on to say, 1, you're wrong. 2, not possible. 3, nah, only kidding. I respect your opinion, brother. You're just talking to the okay, air quotes, the Rocky fanboy. I love all of them, including Rocky 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you lost a couple of friendship points there, okay? Because of the point, because when you say you're a fan of 4 and 5, that's a problem. That is a huge problem.
Well, in the spirit of it being 4th of July weekend, we got the right to free speech, baby. So
we do. We do.
Agree to disagree.
We do. We agree to disagree, right, TG? We agree to disagree, and that's okay. You can do that. There is no issue with that. I've been on other people's podcasts, TG, and when you go back and look at our tapes, you'll see this. I don't agree with half the things that the other panelists are saying, but that doesn't mean I hate them. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean we can't be friends. It doesn't mean I can't hang out and grab a cup of coffee with them the next morning, right? I'm okay with it. I'm fine. I'll live to fight another day, because tomorrow, every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. So you got to prove that you're a bigger creature now than I was 5 minutes ago. And that's Ray Lewis we're talking about here. Ray freaking Lewis knows what he's talking about. If you know who Ray Lewis is, TG, one of the best football players of all time. And considering I'm in Maryland, he's a Baltimore Raven. So I'll give Ray Lewis some credit. Luke says Tommy the Machine Gun is a legend in Rocky 5. No, he's not. No, he's not. And then Luke says, let's shake hands. That's fine, Luke. We can do that all day, son. By the way, Luke, this is something I want you and I to do the first time we see each other in person. Or maybe TG, maybe you and I can do this. Do you remember the scene in that little indie film that came out many, many moons ago called Predator? Do you remember Predator?
Yeah.
You remember that? So I want us to do the man shake. When I meet Luke, TG, anybody from Dylan or Luke, you son of a bitch. Like I want to do this.
Flex the arm too.
Yeah. What's the matter? The CIA at Veritas got you pushing too many pencils? Huh? Not enough? Take it easy on yourself, Dutch. Okay. You didn't know when to quit, huh? Damn good to see you, Dutch. Do it with this tie. Oh, come on, man. Forget about the tie. Anyway, I'm sorry, TG. You and I can quote. I can quote. You like Predator, right? We can quote these movies all day. Speaking of which, okay, there's no wrong answer here. There is no wrong answer, and I know what the answer is going to be. But I'm going to ask it anyway. Okay. Of the 5 that have come out in the last 40 years, favorite Die Hard movie?
Oh, the Die Hard 1. The first one. Yeah. Okay. I got to go with the first one. The first one's so great. I mean, it is. Come on. It's on Christmas. I watch it every Christmas, by the way. It's a Christmas movie to me in my house. So I know that's a subject to debate.
Do you watch it by yourself, or do you and her watch it?
Oh yeah, we watch it. My whole family watches it. Like my mom and dad. It's a whole family thing.
It's a family affair.
My sister, my stepsister. Yeah, wow. Dude. It's a big family. It's a family event, man. We watch it every year. It's not Christmas until we watch Die Hard.
Hans Gruber till
Hans Gruber falls off. Yeah.
I think what was the 32nd floor? I think it was the 32nd floor of Nakatomi Plaza that he fell under. Yeah. You're like, come on, this is the team of Christmas medicals. Hey, John Boy. It's just, dude, Ellis.
Yeah.
Ellis, come on.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Hey, John Boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and this is something I'll say to Luke that one of the second or third time I see him. Luke, Booby, I'm your white knight.
Dude, that
I know we're
that-
picking on Luke here, but he's the CEO, man. He's the CEO. Him and Nate and Casey are the CEO of the Discord. So him and Nate are the CEOs. So it's like, Luke, I got to throw this out to you, man. Just saying.
Luke and Nate are absolute legends.
They are totally. And just for argument's sake, my favorite, because it was the first one I saw. I saw all the movie franchises out of order. Did I ever tell you this? I saw Terminator 2 before I saw the Terminator. I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but long before I ever saw Raiders and Temple of Doom. And I saw, what was the other one? I saw Die Hard with a Vengeance before I saw Die Hard 1 and 2.
I'd say Die Hard with a Vengeance was my second favorite, actually.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
Simon Says, baby.
Yeah, they did a good job with coming back with that one. Die Hard 2 was kind of a repeat of Die Hard 1, in my opinion. But then Die Hard 3, I felt like was actually a more unique story, that they were trying to tell a different story with the
Sam
characters.
Jackson's in it.
Oh, yeah.
Which doesn't hurt. And Jeremy Irons, Uncle Scar from Lion King, is the bad guy as Simon. So
yes, Jeremy Irons is a great villain.
Jeremy Irons is the man, dude. Why don't we get him in more action movies? Put him in more stuff, honestly.
Yeah. I think he's getting up there in age now.
He is. That's his problem. But listen, if Liam Neeson can make action movies into his 60s or 70s, by the way, Liam, every movie that's come out in the last 15 years is the exact same movie. All right. I love you.
He's got a new one coming, Naked Gun.
But here's the thing. Right? Okay, I've seen the trailer. Have you seen the trailer? The most recent one, the 2.5 minute
ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous.
It looks completely ridiculous. Ridiculous beyond measure. The fact that Pamela Anderson is playing the, Jane / Priscilla. Is it Priscilla or Janine? What was her first name? Priscilla Presley? Like the Presley role from the original, or not from the original, but the iteration, like a different iteration of a different character. I'm just thinking to myself, Pamela Anderson? Really? But then again, it's a parody of itself. So,
Now, Pamela Anderson's a great actress. What are you talking about?
Is she, though?
Just kidding.
I was going to say, is she? I mean, come on, let's be honest. For those of you wondering who Pamela Anderson is, she is well known for her role on Baywatch as CJ Parker. And then before or between she was filming that series and another series, she was also filming a movie called Barbed Wire. Did you ever hear of that? Yeah, it's a comic book based movie. So feel free to if you want to look it up, feel free to look it up. But I don't know if I recommend it. But still, and then she did the TV series VIP. I think that was VIP. Look it up. It's somewhere on streaming.
Okay.
But the point is, the Naked Gun. I don't know why you're rebooting it, remaking it. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wanted it. Nobody cared. Leslie Nielsen is a comedy legend that we all knew of and loved. Just let it go. But, you know how Hollywood is, right? They like to recycle the same 30 ideas. Yeah. So go ahead and do it, because pretty soon we're going to get a remake of Die Hard, right? I mean, are they going to remake it? Probably not.
Yeah, who knows? Seems like your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before they remake Die Hard and Speed and what were some of the other action movies you grew up on as kids? You think they're ever going to remake Tombstone? I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know. I hope not.
I hope not, because certain Westerns need to be left by themselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Growing up, it's funny though, because I've never seen this movie, but growing up, my dad always used to watch Silverado. I never saw it though. I've heard good things about it, but I've never seen Silverado. Never seen what was the one that we were talking about? I'm trying to think of it. Never saw the original 310 to Yuma, because I've seen the remake. Never saw the original True Grit with John Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of Stagecoach, Shane. Never seen any of them.
Yeah, Shane's still surprisingly pretty good. I mean, for a movie that was made in 1950s. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, the book is really good. There's a book. I think Jack Schaefer read it.
Really?
But yeah, he it's a great book. And then another old Western that was a book and a movie, Hombre with Paul Newman. Hombre is a great film. The book is great as well. The movie and book pretty much follow similar paths, but author Elmore Leonard, he's a great author. That's one of my favorite authors as well. Yeah, he's a great author.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know if I got a chance to share this with you who may be watching and listening to this right now, but T.G. Brown, in celebration of today's episode, talking about Cut Them Down and everything that T.G. Brown has been doing, it was justified. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I didn't even know you were wearing that.
Yeah, baby. Awesome. Yeah, I suited up for today, man. If you want this shirt, go on tpublic.com, # not a sponsor of this broadcast, and get yourself some really good looking t-shirts that have your favorite Western or non-Western characters on the shirt. Maybe whether you like Conan the Barbarian, maybe it's Solomon Kane. I just bought myself a Solomon Kane shirt, because he was created by Robert E. Howard, who also created Conan the Barbarian. So yeah, check out tpublic.com, TG Brown. You and your family may find something on there you may enjoy wearing. Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, LS Author, also known as Luke, says, TG, have you seen Tall T by any chance? Are you familiar with that?
Tall T, I don't believe I have seen that. No. Nope. Who's in it? Who's in that one? I'll have to Google it later.
I was gonna say, I'm not really sure. But with gee willikers. Well, here's a $2 million question that your guidance counselor probably used to ask you when you were younger. So, TG Brown, what's next? What's going to happen next for you? What's your plan for 5-10 years down the line? What is the plan for TG Brown books moving forward?
So, great question there, guidance counselor. My future books include a novella that's a prequel to Tribal Honor. It follows two Native American brothers who are introduced to Tribal Honor. It introduces their story and how they ended up in their life of crime. It's actually more of a prison survival novella, so that's going to be a quick-paced, fast-paced action thriller. It's kind of written in the vein of like those old. It's like a gritty Bruce Lee type of book, those Bruce Lee movies back in the day where he'd be climbing the ladder of bad guys and he's just fighting them in each level of a building or something. Definitely took some inspiration for that for this next novella. But as far as my 5 to 10 year plan, I want to do a crime thriller saga with Warren Lawson where I write 6 books about him as a police officer, and then I want to do a Western trilogy with the characters from Cut Them Down. That's the first one of the series. And then when I finish all those 2 series, I want to blend the 2 into a action adventure story, a treasure hunt type of story where my modern day characters and my Western characters are both hunting for the same thing but in different timelines. And I want to kind of have a like an Avengers level event with these characters that people have read and grown to love over the years, and 9 books leading up to this big treasure hunting story. And so that's that's kind of the holy grail that I'm working towards right now, is that massive Avengers level treasure hunt story, because I think that brings a uniqueness to it. And I want to also write the story not only as a culmination of all those books, but if you were just a casual reader that wants to read a good treasure hunt story, that story can also appeal to you as well. And you don't need to read the first 9 books that I have leading up to it, but if you have, there's going to be a lot of extra flavor to it as well for those people that have. So that is the long-term plan that I want to do. I want Warren Lawson to kind of pivot from being a police officer and become a treasure hunter, an adventurer. He eventually has to get out of law enforcement at some point, and that's kind of the long-term goal. But things do change. Like, it is a kind of a risk to try to build everything towards that, because you have to hope that every book leading to that is going to land with readers. And I don't want to get ahead of myself and say that every book is going to land, because you just don't know. I think they will, but you just don't know. And so if I have to pivot and do something else, I'm ready to do that. I think with this industry of publishing books, you have to be ready to change course in the blink of an eye. So if I had it my way, that's the plan. But if it changes, I'm ready to change. I think being a police officer, used to plans being shattered quite a bit. So we will adapt and overcome in any way possible.
Yes! That's awesome!
Man, I mean, you got plans, son. You got plans. You're not messing around at all. I mean, you think Westerns and tribal honor and tribal police is one thing, dude. You're going to combine all these things and put your own iteration of an MCU and Kevin Feige, this whole gosh darn thing, and get a treasure hunter story going too. I'm thinking to myself, man, we're going to need Nick Cage and John Voight and Diane Kruger, from National Treasure. We're going to need a whole squad.
Yeah,
but it sounds like fun though. It seems like you got a good head on your shoulders. You know what you want to do. It sounds like a really good plan, and I am anxious, to see where this goes, because I know they say this in the movie, but I'm going to do a paraphrasing of this here. You had me at treasure hunting. Like you had me at treasure hunter because
Yeah.
adventure, treasure hunting. I mean, dude, we've been fans of that since the Indiana Jones days. So there's no
Right.
harm in doing your own version, your own iteration of a treasure hunter type story, right?
Yeah, if I can blend um, crime elements with adventure elements with Western elements all into a story, which trust me, I understand it's going to take some doing, and I need to get ready for that. But I think if I can pull that off, it'll be a truly unique story. And that's ultimately what I want to bring to the table with every book is a uniqueness and an entertainment value, unlike any other book that you've ever read. And that's the hope with this mecca, if you will, this goal of mine to bring a new version of treasure hunting, where it's not just a treasure hunter story, but it's a story of these characters and generations of characters striving towards this thing. And I think it's unique the way I'm going to tell it because there's actual culture department within the tribe that I'm part of actually, and it's similar to an archaeologist, but for the tribal government instead. So I thought that Warren being into that job would be very interesting, change of pace for someone like Warren, who's been a police officer for a long time. But he will already have that background of investigating things and all that. So he's going to be very prepared for a good adventure by the time we get to that point because of his experiences as a cop. And then meanwhile, you have these characters from my Western trilogy who work their way towards it in a different fashion. And and so what I picture for this Mecca Holy Grail type thing is that I get to blend all these elements, the Western shootouts, the car chases, the helicopter crashes, whatever or climbing a mountain, I can blend all these awesome set pieces into a story. And maybe I do make it a two-part story. I haven't really decided. It depends on what I do because it's going to be a big cast of characters and I want to be able to shine a light on all of them while not writing a story that's so long. It's like, people don't want to read it. I want to keep my stories lean and fast moving. So we'll decide when we get there. Again, don't want to get ahead of myself, but we'll figure that out as we get there. But right now, I'm just focused on writing each book as good as I can, and not getting ahead of myself. Because if I get ahead of myself and the other books falter, then it's not worth it. So I think that you mentioned the MCU. I think MCU kind of got recently they got in a mode of just trying to set up for the next movie instead of just making a good movie. I never want that to happen. So every book I'm publishing up until that moment is going to be its own unique story, building these characters in different genres, right? I think that when stories blend genres and change avenues and characters evolve into these different genres as we go, I think that's very interesting. I think that's very unique too, and I think that that's what I'm trying to build here with our books and the series.
Huge undertaking. But if anyone can do it, it's you, good sir, 100%. But just out of curiosity though, if the networks came to you and said, "Hey, we like what you're doing, we like your books, we like your stories, we want to adapt them into an animated series or a live action series or a movie," who are you? If you were the casting director, who would you cast to play some of these characters in these roles?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I talked about this with Luke a little bit ago, but I think for the cut them down specifically, I actually picture Jake Reeves, the main character. I picture him as John Berthnall, Frank Castle from The Punisher, kind of similar traits, but in the Wild West. And then the sheriff, Everett Wallace, I pictured Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. I think the sheriff is kind of a bumbling sheriff, and he's similar to Jensen Ackles' character in every role he's in. So I thought he would be good, and I haven't seen Jensen Ackles in a Western, so I thought that would be an interesting look. And then other characters, actually, it's going to surprise you, but my Warren Lawson character, when I first started writing, mind you, this was probably 10 years ago when I started writing Warren Lawson, but I actually pictured Zac Efron, believe it or not, because Zac Efron, he has a lot of range. I don't know if you've seen some of his recent movies, but he can be very serious. He can be very humorous. He's a strong guy. He can do the action roles pretty well. And I actually pictured him as Warren Lawson at the beginning, but I haven't really pictured anybody else since then. And then actually female characters for Cut Them Down, I pictured Sienna Miller as Marie Reeves. She's Jake Reeves' wife. Thought she was great in the movie Horizon. And then directors, Taylor Sheridan, love Taylor Sheridan, everything he does. I think he would fit perfectly for pretty much any of these books right now. But yeah, Taylor Sheridan and I don't know. Probably, I think that he's the top of the list. Michael Mann, if he's still doing movies, I think he'd pull it off as well.
Yeah, good names, man. Good name. Well,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, no, I can see a lot of this. I'm a little surprised, and a little disappointed you didn't mention the Western veterans here, like Robert Taylor from Longmire, or Timothy Oliphant from Justified, or Anson Mount from Hell on Wheels. You know, a little surprised you didn't mention those accomplished Western era actors.
Yeah,
you know, but
no,
but it's okay. It never hurts to add different names and different mixtures into the recipe.
Yeah, definitely.
Never hurts, but but if you included some of my favorite Western actors, that would be nice. If it ever comes across your desk, just let me know. Elmore Leonard wrote The Tall T, according to
he did.
Luke here, and then he goes on to say that Randolph Scott, it's rather old, I believe.
Okay. I will check that out. I love Elmore Leonard, so I'm going to check that out. Another one to add to my list from Luke.
It keeps going. Luke goes on to say Iron Claw is enough to prove that Zac Efron can do it all.
Yes, God, that movie is heavy. But yeah, he's totally true. He's totally right. I mean, Zac Efron has some range in his acting skills. He's grown a lot from his in the
High
Disney
School
actor?
Musical days.
Yeah. He's grown a lot from those days. So yeah.
Give credit where credit is due.
Yes,
well, look forward to seeing what the future brings to you over there with your next books, whatever your next projects are going to be, because all we can say to that is saddle up. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to T.G. Brown for being our guest on this week's episode of And I Quote. Thank you so much, kind sir, for gracing us with your presence, getting a little bit more insight into how your mind works. If someone wants to know more about you and check out your books, or maybe even the audiobooks, where can they follow you on social media there, TG?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me today, Ryan. So you can follow me at tgbrownbooks.com. That's my author website. There's also my Instagram, TG Books. It's, I think, TG Brown _ books on Instagram, and then just TG Brown on Facebook. And the audiobook is found on pretty much any audio platform that you have. So it's mainly on, Audible, Apple. I think that Nathaniel texted me the other day. He found it on a platform I didn't even know it was on, and I'm forgetting what it is. But yeah, you can find the audiobooks pretty much anywhere. The audiobook for Cut Them Down is my personal favorite. There's a Broadway actor that narrated it, and he is so good. He does so many different voices. It's a truly great performance in the audiobook for Cut Them Down. So I always recommend that one. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think most of where I can be found is on my tgbrownbooks.com, though. That's the primary area where I contact people. We post blogs. We sell books directly from our author website. We sell audiobook, digital, and paperback. We sell signed paperback books. We make them personalized to people if they want. And we kind of cut out the middleman and sell all the books there too. So that's a great way to find us there, and to subscribe to my author website and get all the daily updates.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful idea. Thank you, kind sir, for being with us. All that information is located in the description of this episode of And I Quote, so do not forget to check that out. TG, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Grab a cup of coffee. Grab something in the non-existent green room that we have back there. I'm going to talk to you here again momentarily. My name is Ryan of And I Quote channel. Follow me across all forms of social media simply at, where am I pointing to? Where is it? There it is, right there. At And I Quote channel. That's where we post news about our upcoming shows, our videos, some shorts, all that good stuff. It's all there, so check it out. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, TikTok, the whole enchilada. Also, we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, folks. Once we do, we'll have a great big live stream that will include returning guests and special giveaways that you, the person who is watching or listening to this right now, are going to be eligible to win. Also, we got merch. We got hoodies. We got T-shirts. We have stickers that you can add to your water bottles. We have coffee mugs. We got stationery, a couple of throw pillows, maybe some bed sheets, that type of stuff. All that good stuff. And as we mentioned before, check out the Men's Adventure Fiction podcast on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you download your podcasts. Check them out. Luke, Nate, they are two of the finest gentlemen that ever walked the face of this earth. So check it out if you're into that genre known as Men's Adventure Fiction. Speaking of books, because we talked about them earlier, Morona Grant, The Lost Tomb of Golgotha, written by our good friend Brina Williamson. That is available on Amazon, so check that out. Fire in the Tall Grass by Luke Goodich. That's a good book, isn't it, T.G. Brown? So you can check that out as well. We talked about Veritas earlier. Look at all these books that they have out right now. Pull of the Tide, Lady Evil, Dinner for One, Sunrise Over the Valley, Unwanted Passenger. the Longwood Trail, Cherry Blossoms by Midnight, if I'm saying that correctly, and then The Hound and the Scorpion, if you're into military fiction, that type of stuff. Check out Veritas Entertainment. Check out their page on Amazon. Tons and tons of great books over there. Great stuff, as one might say. And as we spoke about earlier, I do have a short story called Wolf of the West. It's going to be published in an upcoming Western Roundup anthology. More information will be released on that on the Veritas Entertainment Instagram page, so make sure you check that out as well. With that being said, thank you so much for being a part of this episode. Do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. Remember, life is better when supporting creators from all over the world, but you don't have to take my word for it.
A mission for the police. A mysterious passenger. Mitch Mayhew is carrying more than the mail this flight. Unwanted Passenger is a roaring, prop-spinning, pulse-pounding historical thriller for fans of aerial stunts, flapper-era intrigue, and reluctant heroes with debts to pay and demons to outrun. Order your copy of Unwanted Passenger today.
Strelin of Ulia is a cursed man, and cursed men are dangerous. He has traveled the known world seeking a way to lift his curse. So far, he has not found what he is looking for. When Trellin arrives in the city of Anshi, in the nation of Paraba, he meets a cold reception. The desert nation is unforgiving. Its people have proven untrustworthy, and the locals have no love for foreigners. Now, a wealthy stranger offers to lift Trellin's curse for a price, and he must make a choice. Seek a solution elsewhere, or risk imprisonment in the Tower of Ruhak, a place from whence no man has ever escaped. The known world of Atera, The Prisoner of Ruhak Tower. Now available on Amazon in paperback and on Kindle.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.